Hey guys, from Tigerdencollectibles, and here we are again with another video on the comic collection. This time that I bought, that was a 12281, right? I did that for fun. I mean, I only knew that because the guy told me, because of the list they had from before. If you're just tuning in now, check out that video first before you check this one out. I'll do multiple parts of this video as I go through the collection. I mean, it's not the most killer collection, but it's a numbers game with its collection. So a lot of little minor keys or good sized keys, you know, and obviously pending grade makes the biggest difference. So again, if you're just chiming in, please subscribe below, okay, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. All right. Also make comments anytime. I always love that, and the email's awesome too. So here we go. We're going to basically talk about what I pulled out. I only went through about 6 boxes. There was 42-ish boxes. 99% of it was not boarded. So therefore it was voided exclusion. That's where you get the 12,000 comics. So my son's going to pick it up, and you'll see what I already pulled out over here. So I have this stack, that stack, that stack, and that stack. And what I mean is, like, you'll see, like, this is all like Silver Age Thor from issue 128 to 188-ish. And there's gaps, obviously, and but they're all in probably VG to, I don't know, fine plus condition. So anywhere from 4.0 to maybe even 7.0-ish, maybe some even better than that. And so, and like I said, there's different titles like Avengers 18 and up to, Hulk 115 and up to, a big Star Wars run that's sitting there right now. So if we're zooming back over here, you see those 2 mini boxes I already pulled out, some stuff there. I mean, those are good, you know, great $10 fillers. You know, they're not penny books, you know what I'm saying? And then you see here, this is what I still have left to go through. You might kind of try to scan to the bottom there, right? So it's still a great amount of books that we need to go through. And then when he comes back over here, I'm only gonna, this is a lot of the better books. So you see Spider-Man under 100 here. Again, some more early Thor, some other things like Predator 1. Things I'm just pulling out. I just want to talk about a few of the books that I found that you're going to see here today. So the next book that we pulled out from the Hulk run is Hulk 234. It is the first appearance of Quasar, formerly Marvel Man. There was a tweet a while back, you know, regarding there could be some speculation on the book as well. So there's a little bit of interest in there. So that's why I pulled it out. So, I mean, it's worth something. I mean, all books are worth something, but, you know, it's worth a little better than something. It's in great shape, too. I mean, it's probably a 9.4 or better on that. So that gives us a more interesting pull because of the grade. All right, so the next book after that book is going to be Hulk 340. Now, this is a great book. So, and a lot of people like this because people like Todd McFarlane. So this is a classic cover by Todd McFarlane. This is issue number 340 with the Wolverine on the cover. So check that out. Very classic, iconic cover there. This book is in, I would say a 9.4 condition, give or take, obviously a little bit, you never know, but it's also a beautiful book. The next book I'm going to be pulling out is going to be Hulk 377. It's the obvious green color. So whenever you see this book, it's the first appearance of Professor Hulk Personality Gray-Green Composite. Also the first appearance of Guilt Hulk, a manifestation of Banner's guilt. Okay, so because of that, it is a key issue. Again, people like this book, and so they'll pull it out into the pile. And obviously, as we get into more modern books, the better the condition. This is probably a 9.2 plus, somewhere around there. The next book I'm going to pull out here is going to be probably the last key book probably in the run. If people disagree with that and there's other books you believe you should pull out. But for me, this is all I pulled out. It's Hulk 449. This is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. Okay, so key issue because it's the first appearance of them. If you ever see this book, pull it out. People like this book. Again, this grade is probably going to be, this one's more like a 9.6 or better. Great book. So again, if you see it, pull it out. And now we're going to get ready to move on to the next title. Okay, the next one we have here is the 316. Amazing Spider-Man 316. I have 2 of these, both mint condition books here. So what makes this book interesting, guys, is the fact that it was the 3rd appearance of the Venom and the first full cover appearance of Venom. So I think the significance of the fact that it was the first full cover appearance of Venom is what makes this sought after. Okay, a lot of people like this. You can sell this raw for $100 all day long if it's mint. So again, got 2 copies of that. as you can see here. So if you ever see it, pull it to the side. It's not just ASM 300s. There's a lot of ASM over 300 that's very important to the issues. The next book we're going to pull up is going to be your classic 252. Okay, as you can see here. This is when he wears a black suit. So this is the first appearance of Spider-Man's black suit. It's also a cover swipe of Amazing Fantasy 15. So if you remember what Amazing Fantasy 15 looks like, as you can see, it's very similar to that. Okay, based on my notes, also a book that easily sells for over $100 raw as well. Okay, the last book I'm going to show for an Amazing Spider-Man is going to be ASM 238. Now, if you've been with me for a little bit, you've seen this book probably 100 times. Okay, I take that back. Maybe 3 or 4 times. But still, this was probably my best copy that I've gotten so far. It's the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, sorry. Okay, it's got tattoos in it. You always want to check to see if the tattoos are in there. This is not the newsstand, but it's a direct edition. But I believe that this condition of this book is probably a 9.6-ish book. Actually, I've had a couple that were like 9.6, I guess. So maybe it isn't the best condition one. But still, it's a very nice book. Okay, this one probably sells for $200 to $300 in this condition, even in raw shape. So it's a very sought-after book. If you ever see it, please pull it out. All right, we're going to get to our last title of the run next. All right, our next title is the classic Amazing Spider-Man. Now, as you saw, I picked up a lot of those anyways before. This is just, pulling books that I saw in this particular collection. And like I told you, there was a lot of books under 100 over there, but they were just like your common books, but they're still worth something. You know, they were probably like a 6.0 or so. So these are just, interesting because they're a little bit different. I didn't show you from before. This is Amazing Spider-Man. I'm going from highest to lowest. Number 430. As you can see there, this is the first appearance of Carnage Cosmic. Okay, so this is where Carnage symbiote bonds with the Silver Surfer. So actually, the 431 is actually better, but they usually sell as a set. So if you see this one or the other one, even if you have one or the other, it's still something. I mean, you're talking about 20, 30 bucks all day long, so check it out. You can always look it up on eBay. This one's obviously in mint shape as well. We are with the next title. It's going to be Daredevil. So I have what it seems to be 5 copies of Daredevil 181. 3 of them is newsstand, and 2 of them is your direct edition. So, bam, there you go. That's the book. All right, so I was talking to a friend today, and he said, Richard, who cares? You're right, who cares? But it's still money. Still something, right? If they're all like 9.2, 9.4 pluses, it's something. So, him and I disagree on that. It is the death of Elektra. So, skewered by Bullseye. So, again, I like the book. Some people don't like the book. So, who knows? It's up to you, basically, what you think. But I have 5 copies. That's what's in this pile. Again, 3 of them is newsstand. Okay, moving on to the next book that I have is going to be Daredevil number 168. And this is not the death, but the first appearance. Yeah, I'm going backwards this time around. So, this is the first appearance of and the origin of Elektra. So this one is also in great shape. It's got to be a 9. Oh, it's got a little, looks to be potentially a light crease there. I know, maybe at least a 9.0. So again, great book. It's also the first written work on Daredevil by Frank Miller. Okay. Elektra misspelled with Elektra on the cover according to notes that I have here written. But great book. This is definitely key. A lot of people love this book. A lot of people always hunted for this book. So if you ever see this book, pull it out. Okay. The next book I'm going to show you is Daredevil number 158. Okay. So this is the first artwork on Daredevil title series by Frank Miller. Origin and Death of Death Walker, formerly the Exterminator. Okay. People like this book. It's not a super book, but it's still an interesting book, as I would call it. Okay, this is probably a 9.2 or better. Check that out. Okay, and the last book from the Daredevil series that I'm pulling out that I have that I thought was really nice, and it's actually in really nice shape. I mean, it's probably a 9.4-ish, 9.6 condition. It's going to be Daredevil 131. This is the first appearance and the origin of Bullseye. So this is a very sought-after issue. So if whenever you see this, especially in good shape, pull it onto a pile. Definitely try to get this graded if you can. Again, this one's got to be a 9.4 in my mind. Again, who knows? It can go 0.2 down or 0.2 up. But check that out if you have it pulled out. And we're going to get ready for the next title coming up next. Okay, so our final title for tonight. Again, there's only went through 4 titles. There was a bunch of books I pulled out. I'm going to say, once I get some of the books graded, etc., I think the return on what I see here so far is probably going to be around $5,000 or $6,000. $1,000 so far, and I still have about 38 boxes to go through, and that's not including the bulk I put to the side that I'll sell off those separately as well. So who knows, but we'll come up with a tally towards the end about how much I think of the impact that was made as far as total valuation of return if I would have sold them one at a time, and including the bulk separately as well. Okay, so Star Wars, we're talking about the 1977 run, the very first run here, and what we got. I'm going to go in order, the ones that I found. Oh, by the way, there's like another 40 books. I just pulled out some of the books that were interesting. It is Star Wars #1. So as you can see here, it is a newsstand edition, and there's 2 of them here, both in really nice shape. So obviously, it's the first appearance of Darth Vader, the first appearance of Luke Skywalker, the first appearance of Princess Leia. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The first appearance of C-3PO and R2-D2. The first appearance of the Grand Moff Tarkin. The introduction of Stormtroopers. And the first cover appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo, not in the story. Now, that's a lot for one book to have. But I have 2 copies. Again, this book was just, it's funny because this book, just a few years back was like nothing, to be honest with you. So with everything going on with Star Wars, Mandalorian, etc., I think this book's gone through the roof. So again, if you ever see it or you have one sitting around, pick it up, put it to the side. Definitely an important book. The next book that's obviously making a big move right now is this book, Star Wars #2. It's the first actual appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's also the first appearance of Han Solo in a story. First appearance of Chewbacca. If you guys know who that Chewbacca, right? The first appearance of Greedo. And first appearance of character introduced as Jabba the Hutt. Okay, again, this book is heating up right now. I believe Obi-Wan Kenobi, it has some sort of a Disney series that's potentially being produced. My son Tiger is shaking head, which means that he knows more than I do when it comes to TV related stuff. All right, I have #3. I'm not going to talk about it, okay? I also have multiple copies of #4, but I'm not going to talk about it. But there's 3 copies of it. The cover's pretty cool. Look at that, Darth Vader there. I like that in the background. All right, let's go. The next key issue that I see here is going to be #5. It's the first appearance of Wedge Antilles. Okay, I'm probably not saying that right. A veteran pilot of the Rogue Squadron. Okay, apparently December 2020, Patty Jenkins, the movie director, Rogue Squadron could focus on the famous squad from Star Wars, which could be good. Now, if that really happens, that's great. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies. Let's see if I can hold it up to the screen there. Oh, I did it. 5 copies of 5. Yes. Okay, so that's that. All right, moving on to the next issue I have here. It's Star Wars #6. Apparently, it's an interesting issue, but not that interesting. So I'm going to put that down, but I have multiple copies of it, okay? Okay, so the next book that I pulled out here, I mean, it's not great, but it's still cool. Again, I like Darth Vader. He's in the background again. Star Wars #35. It's the first meeting of Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. It's also the first appearance of Domingo Taj. I'm not sure how to say that. Star Wars fans, I apologize if I insulted anybody. Do not take that personally. Okay, so again, this is high grade, so a very nice book to have. Okay, another book that I have that I'm going to be showing is going to be, I believe, Star Wars #41. And the reason why I'm showing this book, it's the first cameo appearance of Yoda in Shadows. Cover art featuring the Millennium Falcon. Okay, 5-page explanation of Yoda's initial goblin-like appearance illustrated in the Marvel paperback edition of The Empire Strikes Back. So I think this is a book that could heat up. I mean, who knows? It might not, but I think it's interesting. So I pulled it to the side. Obviously, the key book that everybody's waiting for. Drum roll. Okay, Star Wars 42. Literally blew the lid off just recently. So I have 2 issues of this book. One was the direct edition, and one is a newsstand. Both high-grade copies. This is number 1 on the hot top 10 list for Star Wars. I believe it's the first appearance of Boba Fett. Okay, so it's the first appearance also of Dengar. Okay, it's the first cameo appearance of the Emperor Palpatine, also aka known as Darth Sidious. Okay, and again, this is a very important book. I'm just going to give you some price points here. It's pretty crazy. I believe 9/8 are going for like $3,000, give or take. The last 9/4 sold in December for $500, and the most recent one sold for $900. Now that was December, and then literally a month later, it's almost doubled in 9/4. Okay, so this is a hot book, hot commodity right now, and then obviously the newsstand versus the direct edition, there is a difference. Now, another book that's on the rise right now that people may or may not pay attention to is Star Wars 43. Okay, and 43 is actually my favorite number. That's actually my football number, and I always like that number. So, but coincidentally, it's on a book that's very important. Okay, so it's the first appearance of Lando, second appearance of Boba Fett, and I believe that in December of 2020, Lando series is in the works for Disney again. So there's a very possibility that this book can be moving a lot. So, you know, for example, last week this book sold for $1,000 in 9/8. This week, a week after, it sold for $1,200. So it's on the move. Again, if you have it in your Star Wars pile, pick it up, pull it out. Okay, the next book I'm going to talk about is Star Wars number 60. It's also a book that's heating up, I believe. It's the first appearance of Wald and Hank Thorben, members of the Rogue Squadron. Okay, also the first appearance of the Admiral Mila and the origin of Shira. Okay, so if you have this book, pull it aside. Keep it aside. I mean, maybe get it graded, especially if it's really high, because it might be a book that's on the rise. It's also a newsstand edition, as you can see here. Okay, and then also a book that's always been kind of important. You know, it's not super important, but it's important because it was a low print run. So that's why people like this book. It's Star Wars 107. The black cover, again, high grade is difficult to do. So this one actually happens to be in high grade. So again, if you have it, it's the last issue. Star Wars only went up to 107. So if you have it, pull it out to the side. So guys, thanks a lot for watching today. And again, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, like if you're just chiming in. And thanks for watching. And we will, as we continue going through it, we will stop and try to make a part 2 review of what we found so far. Again, thanks again for watching. Please spread the word and talk to you guys soon. Peace.